All right, everybody. We are back here on the Bear Cast today, and whew, we have a very deep uh, podcast for you today because starting off, the Bears take on the Cowboys tomorrow at 3:25. Um, I don't want to wait, but also I kind of do want to wait until 3:25 to watch this game because I want to see the Bears win, but I also could see them losing just because of how bad we've been. Also, I just want to give a shout out to my father really quick. It is his birthday, so happy birthday, Dad!
Happy
Um,
birthday.
and I hope you enjoy the weekend with Emma. It's Dad's weekend down at Illinois State, so I hope you enjoy the weekend down there. Have a good one. Have a good birthday, and let's start to get into this. So, the Bears take on the Cowboys at 3:25, like we said, and this we better win this game. Seriously, I mean, I will admit the Cowboys have been pretty impressive through the first 2 weeks of the season, but I think this is the game that Caleb can show out because the Cowboys don't have a big time edge rusher since trading away Micah Parsons. I mean, I'm happy we don't have to face him tomorrow, but I am not happy that for the next 4 years we will have to face him twice. Um,
Yeah.
but if you look at last week, the Cowboys gave up 450 passing yards to a 36-year-old Russell Wilson. That that's not good. Like
No.
36-year-olds are usually when quarterbacks start to uh, bottom out and start to really decrease. But I mean, Russell Wilson just looked like the prime Russell Wilson last week against the Cowboys. Somehow the Giants still lost, and personally, I think that's because it's the Giants.
Yeah.
Anything that any of the players did, but the mismanaged miscues on coaching there are a big malpractice. So that's my take on that. But I mean, if that happens to Russell Wilson, I think Caleb can do it. I'm not necessarily saying that I see him throwing 450 yards, but I could see him definitely having a mid 300 game. Now the thing is, can our defense stop the Cowboys' offense?
Mhm.
I hope they can, but until we see the Bears win a game, I can never say that our defense can stop an offense. But we think it is an understatement to say that this is a must-win game for the Bears because with all this hotshot talent that we got in the offseason, it's surprising that we are 0-2. And one thing that I really think uh, Caleb needs to incorporate more in his game is getting the ball to his tight ends because
Mhm.
you spent a first-round draft pick on Colston Loveland, who you know didn't necessarily look like the greatest tight end in college, but when you look at like the quarterback situations and also what type of offense was run in Michigan, you understand why uh, the stats weren't necessarily there for the tight ends or the wide receivers because they never had a very impressive passing attack.
Yep.
Um, and then you have in Cole Kmet, and then you have a very good tight end one in Cole Kmet. But I recently read that Caleb Williams doesn't use his tight ends, and until I read that, I didn't realize that was a true statement. I hope they can get involved in this game, and I'm pretty sure Ben Johnson emphasized that in practice this week. So what are you looking for tomorrow, Michael?
Yeah. This game, I think it's going to be whose offense is better because I think both defenses are honestly so bad. Like we just
Lackluster.
we just let up 52 points. They just let up
40,
that was the Giants. They let up four or not
37,
yeah,
37. I'm sorry.
37 to the Giants. So like realistically, with all the weapons we have, we should not lose this game. Now we are we aren't the favorites in this game,
I
so
don't think we ever will be until we win a game.
we'll never
So,
be the favorite in any game. But like you said, we have to use Loveland. We have to use Komet because like you're using you're using your three wide receivers. That's easy to guard. Now you start putting in two more guys that they have to guard.
and
That's
I don't think the linebackers on the Dallas defense would be able to keep up with Loveland or Cole Kmet. So,
no, no. So like if you start using them that this game, like like we you got to like you used the first round pick on Colson Loveland. Like
and everyone's talking about how how Tyler Warren has looked like a prime like Dallas Clark or something, in Indianapolis. So you
yeah,
know
but that's
every
because Indianapolis uses their tight ends. They run
yeah,
their offense through Jonathan Taylor and the tight ends. That's
yeah,
how it's
right,
always been. Colson Loveland would look the exact same if he was on that team.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, all great points. So I mean, you know, this is a must-win game. Like last night we recorded for our podcast network, and the over under on that game is 50 and a half, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that it's you know impossible, but this either could be a low scoring game or a high scoring game. And one thing that this game cannot come down to is a field goal. This
oh,
game
we'll
cannot
lose.
this game cannot come down to a field goal. We have to be up by a touchdown to win this game, because if Brandon Aubrey can get into field goal range, or if the Cowboys can get into field goal range around 65 yards for Brandon Aubrey, it's an automatic make at this point for him. I
Yeah,
mean, he is the next Justin Tucker. I mean,
yep.
he, I mean, we need that. We need the next Justin Tucker. I and I have no idea when we're gonna get it, but the um, the Bears are gonna be without two or three key starters. And those three starters are going to be Jalen Johnson, who will most likely be out for the rest of the year, Kyler Gordon, and TJ Edwards. Um, that is really bad because DC Dennis Allen is trying to make it work without them, but it is very hard to make a good defense when you are down your two top corners and a great linebacker. However, the Cowboys will be without Deron Bland, so that helps. Uh, and he is their best player on defense probably now that
Yeah,
Micah is gone. With uh, the Cowboys not having the greatest defense and the fact that Matt Eberflus runs the defense, I have a hunch that this is the game that we see Caleb get really comfortable in Ben Johnson's offense, or at least top uh, over 210 passing yards. Uh, he should easily do that. And I hope we win. I'd love to see us win 30-24, but you know, you know, it's all about how good the offense performs and how good the defense performs against the Cowboys offense. Another reason that I think all Bears fans are hoping that we win this game is the fact that Matt Eberflus is returning to Soldier Field for the first time since being fired. So it would just feel extra sweet to stick it to him by winning and say, "Hey, you were the problem, not us." But
yeah.
it's 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 kind of a little bit of both, like in terms of what the problem was. But I'm still gonna blame Eberflus more than the team. But also, what people don't realize is that we started out our season against two teams that last year were 15-2 and 14-3. And this is the first game this year that we're facing off a team that's really a middle of the road team, last year. So this is the first game where I think it's more fairly matched. I'm not going to say that it's evenly matched, because I still think that they probably have better players at certain positions. But also, one of the things that's really nice is Jadeveon Clowney signed there last week,
Yeah.
and they said that it's going to come down to the coach's decision, so he might not play. So
Okay.
not having any, like, you know um, star-studded edge rushers is going to really help the offensive line this week. But still, don't count out the Cowboys defense, because somehow they might look great against us. So, yeah, I mean, I want this next question to happen. So
Yes.
I want to ruin Matt Eberflus's homecoming. I want, I mean, I'm not saying that I want Bears fans to do what Lions fans did to Ben Johnson, where they booed him and said "F you, Ben Johnson." But I want us to put on a show against his defense, because when you look at it, um, Caleb Williams faced off against Matt Eberflus's defense every week in practice for a full year. Or, well, no, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
full year.
So, I mean, he has to know how to beat his defense. I
Yeah.
mean, if he doesn't, how? I don't know how to finish the rest of that statement. So I'm just gonna say, I hope that Caleb Williams puts on a show tomorrow. But I forgot to ask you, Michael. Did you have anything to say about the previous topic? I'm sorry. I'm.
No, I didn't. You're all good.
But, like, I mean, how bad do you want this to happen?
I I would want them to do what the Lions did to Ben Johnson. Honestly,
You want them to
I want them to boo him. Like he just wasn't good for us. It just didn't fit. It's just a bad 4 years. I was so confused when we signed him. First off, I want Caleb to look like prime Patrick Mahomes, like Mahomes versus the Rams, like that type of game in like 2018, where they scored like 55
50,
points or
50,
whatever.
54-51?
Yeah, yeah. Like I
I
want
remember
that.
watching that game. That was a game to watch,
Oh
man.
yeah, I had Todd Gurley and Tyreek Hill in fantasy. So
I had I had Goff, and I think I had Cooks in that game.
yeah,
So
but
so
yeah,
but
I just want Caleb to go out there and torch his defense, and I think
and
we can do that.
and when you look at the defense that Matt Eberflus runs, it is very easy, or it is easier to beat that defense than the past 2 weeks,
Yeah,
because we start off against the Vikings, blitz happy Brian Flores, and somehow he still only got 2 sacks on us, which I am very, very, very thrilled about. But then you face the Lions, who, Dan Campbell probably knows his tendencies, and so he was probably in the defensive meeting room to say, here's how you're going to game plan for Ben Johnson, because he is the offensive guru, that we all think he is. So, I mean, I just hope that we get to see a similar performance from Caleb Williams than we saw from Russell Wilson on on Sunday. And when you factor in the fact that Caleb is 12 years younger than him or 13 years younger, he can sling the ball much further than a 36-year-old Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope that we get our first win tomorrow, and I honestly do think it's possible. It might be an ugly win, but hey, and a win is still a win. And as Bears fans, we're used to ugly wins. So
Yeah.
just get us on the right path, because we have a week 5 bye. Personally, if we could go into the bye 2-2, I will be happy. I
I
think
think
it,
I
I
think
think
that's
it's
so
possible.
possible.
I think it's possible because I mean, I don't want to necessarily give away anything that we'll talk about next week when we do the pregame podcast. But Geno Smith is very prone to throwing interceptions. I mean, he had 3 against oh god, who did they play on on Sunday night or Monday? Who did they play on Monday?
They put Monday or Sunday? Oh my
They
god.
played Monday. Uh,
Oh,
I'm
Chargers, right?
well. Okay, well that's understandable.
Yeah.
Um, but so for our final topic, this was actually more of Michael's idea, but I love this idea. Uh, so on I saw the Instagram post a couple days ago. On Instagram, I saw a post about how your offensive line has stacked up against defenses, and when you look at it, Braxton Jones has what 42% of
Yeah.
pressures and sacks.
It's the highest in the league.
So here's what I'm wondering. So Ben Johnson, you know, came on a press conference and said that someone asked him about Ozzy Trapillo, and they asked him, what's wrong with him? When do you see him getting reps and all that stuff? And Ben Johnson highlighted the fact that they started him out at left tackle and realized that it wasn't the best fit for him. Um, so they switched him over to right tackle, and he's getting more and more reps in at right tackle. And he said that eventually he will be starting for us. So I think that's a slight heads up to Braxton Jones to say, hey, we're gonna move Ozzy to right tackle, and then we're gonna move Darnell Wright to left tackle, your position. Which honestly, I think actually, when Darnell Wright was in college, he played mostly left tackle.
He did.
So I mean, if he played mostly left tackle in college, I mean, I don't think he would necessarily be uncomfortable at left tackle in
Yeah.
in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying that the transition is going to be immediate,
No.
but what I would probably do is so I okay. Here's what I think they should do at the bye. So at the end of week 4, they have week 5 off. So week 5, Ben Johnson should bring in Darnell Wright and say, "Hey, for the next 2 weeks, practice, working on your stance on the left side and not the right side, because we're going to try and switch you to left tackle and have Ozzy go to right tackle because you spent a second round pick on the kid. He's got to get in there at some point this
Yeah.
season." And I mean, the dude is huge. So I mean, and his dad played college football and NFL football. I think so. I think that it can be successful. You just have to. And Ben Johnson did say, at the beginning of training camp that, or at the end of training camp, that they would they probably would name a starter and then look look into it later in the season. And I think having a week 5 bye is a perfect perfect time for that, because Braxton hasn't looked that great at left tackle, obviously, because of how many pressures and sacks that he's given up. But now that since you have basically 2 weeks between uh, week 4 and week 6, that's 2 weeks to make sure that Darnell Wright is comfortable at left tackle. And I think that's a good thing to do. I mean, if you can move Darnell Wright to right tackle and he can look comfortable, and you already know that Ozzy Trapillo is comfortable enough at right tackle, if that's going to make your offensive line better, why not do it? Because you're all you have to do is make sure that Caleb Williams has a clean pocket, and making sure that they're keeping him upright. And I have to say, so far the offensive line has kept him upright, and what we've only given up six or seven sacks, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which, I mean,
Most
is
of them were the Lions.
yeah, most of them were the Lions, and also most of them were probably on Braxton Jones. Um, but when you compare how many sacks we've given up to uh, this year to last year, I mean, I'm sure that we were at like 13 last year.
Yeah, I mean it was like almost like 6, 7, 8 sacks a game we were giving
It
up.
was bad. It was bad.
But
And I mean, so do you think that Ben Johnson should do it where he has Donald Wright and Ozzy Trapillo in for a meeting, like on during the bye week, and say, okay, we're gonna start you two at the tackle positions. You're at Ozzy, you're at right tackle, and Darnell, you're at left tackle. Do you think that's um a good plan of action, or what do you think should happen, Michael?
I think that's perfect because you'll put the rookie Ozzy on the right side. That's not Caleb's blind side. You'll put you'll put Darnell Wright, who's only on the list, has only given up 3.4% of pressure dropbacks. So that's one of the best in the league as of right now. So you're putting that on Caleb's blind side. I'm 100% for it. I said this at the start of the year. I don't want Braxton Jones out there, and this
Hey,
was
and
the
you
reason.
and you might get your wish, man. I mean, it's not well, I can't say that it's not going to happen this week because I haven't seen like the inactive list. If
Yeah, no.
if Braxton is on the inactive list, we'll know what happens. But also, I haven't read like anything on Twitter that has said that Ozzy was practicing at right tackle and Darnell Wright was practicing at left tackle during practice this week. Um, so I mean, if I see a tweet about that, in the next couple weeks, I'll know who's gonna start at which spot.
Yeah,
Because that just is a dead giveaway on what the course of action is. So I think that's all we got for today, for everyone. I mean, sorry that this was necessary, not necessarily like short podcast, but shorter. But hopefully we'll have a good and happy podcast on Monday, around 5 o'clock, I would say,
yeah.
just because that's when it works out for all of us that we're all available. So Jack will be back for that too, and we'll hopefully all get to highlight the good things that happened on Sunday. And I really also hope that the Bears win tomorrow, because it would be a great feeling for my dad's birthday. So,
And I hope they score more. Both teams combined score for more than 51 points.
yep, because you took the over on the points last night,
I
which
did.
I, I,
I
I
could see it happening though. Like
it should happen. It should happen, but also it. I am
I could
also
also
a
see
person.
them putting up 30 points combined too.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not totally convinced on Schottenheimer's head coach ability, because I mean, the first game he looked terrible, and I think he just lucked into a win against the Giants, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
So I hope that this one kind of sets him straight. So we will see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend and enjoy football Sunday and football Monday. So have a good one, everybody.
Later.